Welcome to the major events of Afghanistan on Wednesday, July 23rd. Germany has taken an unprecedented step as the first European country. This country has accepted 2 employees appointed by the Taliban to serve at Afghanistan's diplomatic mission there. Watch this report for more details and reactions to Germany's decision.
After Germany deported dozens of Afghan refugees accused of crimes back to Afghanistan, the authorities of that country announced that, in order to cooperate with the process of returning illegal migrants from Germany, they will accept 2 representatives from the Taliban. Several German media outlets, including Deutsche Welle, have reported, quoting the German government, that these 2 Taliban officials will be working at the consulates in Bonn and Berlin. Although the Taliban government has not officially commented on this matter yet, some German media outlets, quoting Stefan Cornelius, spokesperson for the German government, have reported that Syed Mustafa Shami and Aber Faisal have been appointed as secretaries. Meanwhile, a diplomatic source has confirmed that these 2 Taliban consular officials have arrived in Germany. The German news agency DPA has also reported on this matter. Since the Taliban regained power in Afghanistan, Germany is the first European country to accept 2 Taliban consular employees. However, Berlin has emphasized that accepting the Taliban consular officials does not mean recognizing the Taliban government, and that they will cooperate only in the planned deportation processes. But this decision by Germany has sparked multiple reactions. Dr. Ranjan Dadfar Spanta, the former foreign minister of the previous Republic government, has strongly criticized Germany's move. On Monday, July 21st, he wrote on his former Twitter, now X, account that accepting Taliban diplomats, according to international law, amounts to recognizing this group. He has warned that this move will lower Germany's policy to the level of Russia's policy. He emphasized that accepting Taliban diplomats is a violation of human rights, especially women's rights values. A number of women's rights activists have also condemned this decision by Germany, saying that Berlin is making deals with a group that is widely involved in human rights violations. Tranam Saidi, head of the Women's Political Participation Network, said
that countries which themselves accept refugees are now willing to cooperate with human rights violators for the sake of their own migration order. But we, the women of Afghanistan, are the direct victims of these double standards. We raise our voices to tell the world that dealing with the Taliban is dealing with repression, censorship, and injustice. We see, we do not forget.
Julia Pars, another women's rights activist, says, the Taliban have no legitimacy inside the country, so how is it possible for Germany to negotiate about refugees with a group from whom people have fled Afghanistan because of their oppression?
By accepting a Taliban diplomat at the consular level, Germany has actually taken a dangerous step toward legitimizing this group. Not only does it have no popular legitimacy, but it has systematically violated human rights, especially the rights of women and minorities. Giving Taliban representatives the opportunity to coordinate the deportation process means handing over people who have fled oppression and torture back to their oppressors. This decision shows that political interests and internal pressures have prevailed over human conscience and human rights principles.
Previously, dozens of women's rights organizations expressed concern in an open letter about Germany's decision to consider normalizing relations with the Taliban government and its plan to send rejected and criminally accused Afghans back to Afghanistan.
Some women say that by using small loans, they have started small businesses that have had an impact on strengthening their families' economies. In this exclusive report, see how small loans for women have made a meaningful difference in families' lives during these tough economic times in Afghanistan.
The things we wanted up until the mandate we had were really good, sales were happening, and my work picked up a bit.
The rise in unemployment and the loss of a family member's job had caused this woman's family to struggle with financial problems. The restart of small loans through the new Islamic banking method, or by Murabaha, gave her the opportunity to buy a sewing machine and start working.
Honestly, when I started working, I didn't have any money on hand and I was working for myself. But then the idea came to my mind again that I should take out a loan. So at that time, I took out a loan. I got all the things I needed, like leather and some cleaning supplies, the tools required for the work, and I also bought a sewing machine. Right now, I have an apprentice who works with me.
Samana Yousafzai in Nangarhar is also among the more than 35,000 clients of microfinance institutions, and now 15 other women are working in her handicraft workshop.
When we took out the loan, our business was facing difficulties. We borrowed 100,000 Afghanis to buy raw materials, which solved our raw material problems, and our business got back on track. Later, we took another loan of 100,000 Afghanis, but this time it was to buy machines. With this loan, we were able to expand our business.
Small loans are provided under the supervision of the Afghanistan Investment Support and Small Loan Agency, known as MUSAFA. This organization, which operates under the support of the Ministry of Finance, says that since December 2022, more than 86,000 people have started businesses with the help of loans, with women making up about 40% of this number. The MUSAFA agency says that small loans play an important role in the development of small businesses and in the fight against unemployment and poverty. The process of small lending based on Murabaha banking was halted for a period after the Taliban came to power. The MUSAFA agency says that after consultations and studies, it obtained a license for Islamic lending known as by Murabaha, and with the start of lending in the Islamic way, the number of clients has been increasing day by day. Abdul Matin Zadyar, the head of programs at the MUSAFA agency, said that the minimum ceiling for By Murabaha loans starts from 10,000 Afghanis and goes up to about 100,000 Afghanis, which customers receive according to their needs. However, in some cases, the loan ceiling has reached up to 3 million Afghanis.
Because institutions are gradually maturing in their experience with Islamic practices, this process is thriving and growing, and the demand is also extremely high. In the markets, women mostly use these loans for handicrafts, carpet weaving, and tailoring. That is, a large number of women in rural Afghanistan are also engaged in livestock farming by taking advantage of these loans.
According to Mr. Zadyar, the repayment rate of Murabaha loans has improved significantly compared to the conventional banking system that was in place in previous years, and it has become much less common for customers to be unable to repay their loans within the specified period. Murabaha refers to a transaction in which the seller, after disclosing the purchase price of a commodity, sells it to the customer at a higher price than the original cost, and based on a mutual agreement, the customer pays the amount to the bank or financial company in installments. In the past, the process of providing small loans continued in major cities and provinces where there were fewer security issues. Now, MUSAFA says that the network for distributing small loans through the Islamic banking system, or Murabaha, will be expanded to other parts of the country.
Germany has put forward a controversial proposal in the immigration process. This country has called for the establishment of return centers for refugees outside the borders of the European Union. Pay attention to our exclusive report on this topic.
Germany has proposed setting up return centers for rejected asylum seekers outside the European Union. On Tuesday, Germany's Interior Minister suggested that a small group of EU member states should cooperate to establish return centers outside the EU in order to return rejected asylum seekers to their countries of origin more quickly. Upon arriving at her European exam meeting in Copenhagen, she said, "It is possible to establish such centers outside Europe in cooperation with partner countries." She added, "We want to formalize this goal." According to Germany's Interior Minister, both a joint EU approach and initiatives by some member states are conceivable. In addition to the issue of returning rejected asylum seekers, the Copenhagen talks will mainly focus on measures against illegal migration and the fight against organized crime and drug trafficking. The German Interior Minister had previously called for a stricter migration policy at a meeting in Bayreuth with the Interior Ministers of Austria, France, Denmark, Poland, and the Czech Republic, including more regular deportations, even to countries such as Syria and Afghanistan. Beyond migration issues, the ministers intend to discuss ways to strengthen the European Union's resilience against crises such as natural disasters or problems like IT disruptions.
Migrants returning from Iran are facing a humanitarian crisis. The children and pregnant women in these families are at risk of hunger and death. Watch our exclusive and shocking report on this issue.
The situation is bad, you know. Kids are suffering in this heat. Some people are having a hard time. It's hunger. It just makes things worse.
Mohammed, who returned to Afghanistan from Tehran, Iran about a week ago, says the young children in his family are facing famine and have become weak and sick. Mohammed, who is 18 years old and now lives with his family of 10 in the homes of relatives in the villages of Swali and Gorjevan in Faryab province because they have no shelter, said that his sister under 5 and 2 of his nieces are at risk of death due to not having enough food.
The situation is bad, you know. Kids are suffering in this heat. Some people are suffering. It's hunger. It just makes things worse. Just like that, when we went to Iran, we went since we were kids. Now we have no place, and we have no life either. It's just like that, and our kids don't have enough food. We don't have a home. Looks like we're going to die of hunger.
Abdul Qayyum, a 51-year-old migrant, is another person who, along with his family of 13, has moved from Mashhad, Iran to the city of Mazar-e-Sharif in Balkh province. He says his wife and married daughter, who are 7 and 8 months pregnant respectively, and his 4-year-old grandchild, have all become malnourished due to a lack of proper food, and their condition is getting worse day by day. He, who returned to Afghanistan 15 days ago after living in Iran for 20 years and now lives in a rented house, said this.
Just look at our daughter and my wife. Whatever we might wish for, it just can't be fulfilled anymore. No one can fill that gap. No one is there to help us. No one can do anything for us because they don't see what our situation is like. Who is there to help? There are thousands upon thousands of people. They're coming from Iran. Everyone has these same problems. Over there, I rented a house. I'd saved a little, but the landlord and others started making trouble. When the time was up, we had to leave. And I came back. Now my money is still there until my whole family is done with the process. Sometimes, for example, someone brings us something, or sometimes we borrow, and that's how we're getting by. It's been about 10 or 15 days now.
But there are also families who, for about a week now, have been living in uncertainty at the Migrant Control Center in Islam Kala, Herat province, near the border with Iran because they have no facilities or shelter in Afghanistan, and they complain of hunger. Amir, one of these people who returned with his family of 4, said,
We were in Iran, and even what little we had is completely ruined. We used to work as stable hands. My own hand was tied up, healed badly, got crooked, and won't straighten out. We've been here for a while now. We came to Afghanistan. I'm not saying that we're in a good situation. We're living under a tent. If we have bread for breakfast, we don't have any for lunch. If we have bread for lunch, we don't have anything to drink. There are a lot of problems.
Meanwhile, the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies has expressed concern in a recent report that more than 2.6 million people have recently returned to Afghanistan without any facilities, shelter, work, or security. In a statement published on their Instagram page on July 21st, the Federation said that they only have 10% of the budget needed to help achieve the set goals for returning migrants. The organization added that due to the ever-increasing number of returning migrants, the pressure on them and their partner organizations to provide assistance has grown, and emphasized that immediate international support is necessary to continue these life-saving activities.
End of the news.